I'll get things started. Alan, if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide for me, with how we got started working on video at the North Carolina Department of Transportation. Back in October of 2010, my boss, the Deputy Director of the Communications Office, charged me with the responsibility of creating a weekly video news update. It was one of my performance goals for the year, and she wanted something that was modeled after the MoDOT Minute from the Missouri Department of Transportation. Yeah, I see some thumbs up back there. So with my background in television, it seemed like something that wouldn't be that bad to put together. Shouldn't be too hard, right? Well, we didn't really have a whole lot of high-tech equipment. We really had a $300 handy cam, and when I say that, it really fits in the palm of your hand, and iMovie, and that was really it. So we just started and learned as we went what kind of backgrounds were great, what kind of graphics to use. Communications Officer Jonathan Phillips and I figured it out as we went and kind of built an audience. Hundreds of people were starting to watch NCDOT now, and we began to get bumps as we'd get retweeted from people like Ashto and NHTSA and things like that. So people began to start paying attention, and that was really how the roots of our video production at NCDOT. Then we took our next step when the rail division decided they wanted to shoot some PSAs for a new Be Rail Safe campaign. And they said, well, we're going to pay a consultant $10,000, $20,000 to shoot some of these PSAs. And we said, well, why? We can do that in-house. If you buy us some HD TV equipment, so what we produce will be television quality, then we can produce limitless PSAs for you for roughly $7,000, $8,000 in equipment purchases. So we got Final Cut Pro on our Macs, we got an HD TV camera, tripod, some wireless mics, and a few lights, and we were good to go. So that was our kind of next step in the right direction. Then, you know, as people got more interested in the video work we were doing, we were able to add on a temporary staff member. He's actually right there. His name is James. He's going to be recording the session for those of you who may want to show it to your folks back at home or rewatch it later if you think you missed something. But anyway, we were able to add him to our staff to really be able to expand what we were able to show visually, tell the visual story of North Carolina Department of Transportation and the good work that we're doing. So with that, our field offices invested in another HD camera and some additional gear so we could have Jonathan in one place, maybe shooting the secretary doing one of his meetings across the state, and James in another place shooting, say, the kickoff for Click It or Ticket, and we could put that in NCDOT Now and then create a different video for what the secretary was doing. So now we have 2 communications officers on staff who are helping us with video creation, delivery, and promotion. And just a brief look at where we put those videos after we produce them. We do have a YouTube page, as many departments do. You can see Steve there, as he was mentioning. He's one of our frequent hosts for NCDOT Now. That's our featured video. But we don't just put our videos on YouTube and leave it to be. Once we put them there, that gives us the link to spread them out to the world. So we post them on the Secretary's Facebook page. We put them out on Twitter multiple times throughout the week. We also put them on blogs that we have. So that way we extend the reach of our videos and hopefully attract different audiences via the different platforms that we have. And we've been pretty successful so far, and I guess prolific also. 265 videos we've produced since we started producing videos in 2010. Not too shabby. We have roughly 408,000 views. Now remember, some of these videos are meant for an internal audience, so we didn't expect those to go gangbusters. So, you know, our views may not be through the roof yet, but we're going in the right direction. We also have 288 YouTube subscribers to our account, so we feel like that's a positive step. And so what would this be if I didn't show you some of the things that we put together? I'm going to give you an example of 4 different key kinds of videos that we've been putting out in our office. And first I want to show you an example of a public service announcement that we did. We've had a problem, like many states, with distracted driving and injury and fatality accidents caused by people who are looking at their phone when they should be looking at the road, or changing the radio station, or playing with the kids in the back seat, and we end up with a horrific accident in the middle of the interstate. In fact, between 2004 and 2008, an average of 58,000 people a year were involved in distracted driving crashes in North Carolina, resulting in more than 13,000 injuries and about 120 deaths. So we really wanted to put out a campaign last holiday season directed at distracted driving and that problem. So we put together this PSA, and we call it Just Drive. So let's go ahead and show that one, Alan. And so we didn't just put this one on YouTube and share it over social media. We did buy some time in about, I think, 80 movie theaters across the state, resulting in like 900 screens where people who, of course, during the holidays with their families go to the movies, while the trailers were showing, this PSA showed as well. So we think we reached about 4 million people that way. We also showed it in our closed circuit television network in our 100 DMV offices across the state. We think we reached about 2 million people that way. We also showed it on public access stations across the state who, I mean, let me tell you, if you haven't tried to put your videos out there, you are missing out, because those people have 24 hours to fill, and you can only watch a city council meeting so many times. I mean, you put people to sleep with that stuff. So they're starving for content. So if you can reach out to the station managers at those cable access stations for the cities and counties across your state, your videos will go so much farther. We got a great reach, several million people by putting it out there. So all we spent was $150,000 putting them in the movie theaters, and we reached millions of people, and it was a really successful campaign. One of the next examples that I wanted to show you is for event promotion. As Ted mentioned, we are starting to get in the tolling business here in North Carolina, and in August we opened the second phase of the Triangle Expressway, which is North Carolina's first modern toll road. So this is a new thing for folks here, and it's a big deal. And so we wanted to have an event to kick things off, to get people interested in the turnpike, let people know it's there, and so we decided to have a race, and we called the Triangle Expressway Trot. It's 5K, and the tagline was "Run it before you can ride it." So, the weekend before, we had this event, and we wanted to drum up as much interest and participation as possible, because the proceeds from the event went to Mothers Against Drunk Driving. So this is what we put together to try and get people excited and interested to sign up for the event. Anybody recognize anybody in the room here in that video? It went crazy on social media. We got about 1,500 or more views on YouTube, and it got passed around and commented on quite a bit on Twitter and Facebook. And we knew it was a real success when Steve's running group did a parody of it for one of their running events, and we knew that we had just reached the pinnacle of video production there. But it turned out that it did help generate a lot of interest in the race. We had about 500 people participate, which was more than the previous 5K we had had when we opened the very first section of the toll road. So that obviously reaped some benefits there at zero cost for production, just mainly staff out there for a few hours, having a lot of fun on an unopened section of toll road. I do want to talk about another example very quickly. I'm not going to show this entire video because it's several minutes long and I don't want to eat up too much more time, but those of you who are aware of Hurricane Irene, it hit 2 Augusts ago now along the North Carolina coast and completely devastated NC-12 in 2 places, breached the highway, completely cutting off the connection to the mainland from Hatteras Island. And so we had to get in there and do a lot of serious work to try and mend that road so people could get back to their homes. And it was a place where, we had a hard time getting our crews and the materials and the equipment out there, much less residents getting out to be able to see the work that we were doing, or media to get out there to show that we were being proactive and working 24 hours a day, busting our humps to try and get this road back over and after such a terrible storm. And so we sent Jonathan and one of our still photographers out there, and this is the video that we produced in a series of 5 videos related to the storm. Totally, all those videos got 42,000 hits. This one got about 22,000, and it's by far our most heavily viewed video. And once you see it, you'll understand because the images are extremely gripping.
Pablo Hernandez and his crews have their work cut out for them. They're the ones tasked with assembling a 2-lane, 650-foot temporary bridge along NC-12 to restore traffic and help residents recover from the damage left by Hurricane Irene. The bridge is being pieced together on Pea Island, south of Nags Head, where ocean waters cut out a section of NC-12 more than 200 feet long. More than 40 trucks have arrived from Baltimore, Maryland, carrying equipment and bridge materials to the site. The process of assembling the bridge is an exercise in precision and speed.
It's been one of the more complex projects that I've worked on here on the Outer Banks. Very fast-paced. That's probably the challenge, of just keeping up with the information flow and the changes that are taking place minute by minute.
The modular design allows the bridge to be assembled quickly so traffic can resume flowing. Its strength and durability let the bridge remain in place as long as necessary, while NCDOT devises a plan to permanently repair the damage done to NC-12. In all, there are 82 piles, which are vertical shafts driven into the...
And this video is on our YouTube page, so you can go back and watch more of it. I'm just trying to keep to my time here, but it was such a successful video because there were so many people that either lived out there, that have vacation homes out there, that had plans to go on vacation in the Outer Banks, and they wanted to know what we were doing, and it was a way for us to do our own news story and get out really good news about how hard we were working and what a good job our crews were doing out there. And the last example I'll show you is internal communication. We do a lot of videos that just go out to our own staff to help share things like HR messages, messages from the secretary. He can't be everywhere and talk to everyone, so if we can do a video and email a link from him, he can still share those important messages with the people who work for NCDOT. So in January, we launched a new electronic system for job applications, and that's not the most interesting topic for a video. In fact, it's not really visual at all. So we were charged with trying to come up with a way to make this visually interesting and still educate people about this new system. So I'll show you just about 30 seconds of this basic cartoon that kind of walks you through the steps of how that system works.
So you want to work for the North Carolina Department of Transportation? Great, we'd love to have you. But first you have to fill out an application. Now in the past, applicants used to get bogged down with all kinds of paperwork. It was a real headache to apply for just one job. But now everything has changed with our eRecruit online application process. It's super easy to do and lets you apply for as many jobs as you want. The best part? It only takes a few minutes to do. FYI, eRecruit isn't limited to just NCDOT careers. You can browse through all kinds of job openings in departments and agencies across the state.
So Jonathan basically built this cartoon that looks a lot like him. He's doing the voiceover there, and it was really helpful. It got about 1,400 hits, which is pretty good. We know that a lot of the managers just showed it in their staff meetings, so that wasn't a true idea of how many eyeballs actually saw the video, but we know that it was very helpful in getting the word out about that new system to our employees. So just have one final slide to kind of wrap things up. The positives of doing in-house video production are you're saving your department big money. Give you another recent example. We just did a Complete Streets policy training video for our Deputy Secretary for Transit. He was going to spend $60,000 on a couple of videos. We did it for staff time. That's 2 people's salaries in a year. Think of how many potholes you can fill with that money. So you can save a lot of money doing your own videos. You can reach new audiences with messages that stick. How can you forget the image of Steve running in the race? I mean, just these things that stick in your mind that remind you of the messages that we're putting out. That's another great thing about videos. You can strengthen your relationships with the stakeholders because you can send them something that's very easy to post on their website, on their blog. They look like they're being proactive to their constituents when all they've done is really pass along something that you've provided them. So you've made it look easy for them to be proactive. It's also a new outlet to show openness and accountability if you do messages from your top leaders so that everyone can see it, feel like they're involved. It's a new way to feel transparent and peer transparent. And also just enhancing your reputation as an innovative department, somebody who tries something new ways. Maybe they're comedic, maybe they're serious, but varied ways to get messages across. And then the last thing I just want to say, if you have any more questions or want to look at any of our other videos, then you can certainly go to our YouTube page. It's linked off of our homepage, which is ncdot.gov. And there it is. And with that, I'm done. And we will move on next, I believe, to Peter.
Oh, there we go. I can see you now. So, into one of the regions, and it's a population of about 120,000 people in the whole county, not real big, and we're just sort of beginning our efforts at convincing folks that video is worthwhile. Well, with me a few years ago, when I had here locally with a program, I had seen that the city had a program, I'd seen that the Parks Department had a program, and I said, well, I can do that. I come out of the television industry. So with the opportunity, we started producing a television program called Central Oregon Highways, much like you'd find with a television newscast. And it met with a great deal of success locally here. So I once again thought, well, where else can I put this thing? And it turned out into the ODOT site. Then the folks down in Salem realized it was a good opportunity for them as well. So we put much of it up onto the ODOT General Communications website, and then we expanded it to YouTube. So what we found over time is that we've had many opportunities to take an original idea and then move it out to a much broader audience. I started it up here with this group down in Salem that does produce videos, but they had been restricted to going to conferences and recording the kinds of educational materials that are useful for crews that are just coming aboard or people who are trying to get to know ODOT. And to me, once again, there was the idea that if we had this group of folks that was already doing their thing, that there was every reason to believe that we could do something bigger and better. And so the folks who and they've supported me since then to kind of grow the program to the different venues that we now show it. So we even have it in a hallway down here, so when visitors come to our facility here in Bend, that they can watch and see what's going on locally. And it's also kind of a fun way to get our face and our system out into the general public area. There's every reason for us to show off, but there's also the bike to school, how to get your car ready for winter, the proper tire choice that you should exercise for winter weather. We get a lot of ice up here, so you really have to get into tire choices. So what we've done is expanded out of the rock different kinds of stories, and as we roll forward here, I'll show you one about a girl who chose to get the message out about no texting and driving at the same time, and she ran across the state with a message from one border to the other. And so that featured into this TV program that we put together here, and what we'll do is take elements of that show and then put it into different places on the website or YouTube or whatever might be convenient at the time. One of the things that's happened is that has driven the whole process. And in one case, I use, this is my flip cam on which I record tracks, and then I edit. What we'll do is we'll have the videographers come out from Salem, or they'll go someplace around the state and videotape whatever it might be, whatever event or story that it might be, and then they'll put it up onto a website. I'll bring it into my computer here, and then put it up on the web. Now that doesn't apply for the TV show itself because that has to have broadcast quality. But imagine that. I mean, you can control the product sitting here at your desk that millions of people can see literally around the world. In fact, it's just funny. Our website in Japan, in Canada, not that those aren't, they don't drive on our roads, but there are lessons that we're expanding our universe with. We're showing what ODOT is doing around the world, and it's just an amazing way to get your story out. Well, what I'd like to do is take a moment and show you the website that we have, the Region 4 website. So if we can get it called up, okay, there's the top of it. And you'll see in the top left-hand corner is a girl running along the side of the road. If we can click where it says click here, we'll get a sense of what that program is all about and where we go.
300 miles of running so you don't text while you drive, and 18 miles of paving so you enjoy the ride. Hello, I'm Peter Murphy with the Oregon Department of Transportation, and those are two of the stories you'll hear as we travel your Central Oregon highways. We'll also be telling you all about the 2012 summer construction season for ODOT, and we'll tell you about another one of our projects that's helping keep a big business right here in Central Oregon. And we'll answer some of your questions about what's going on with ODOT. So stay with us as we travel your Central Oregon highways. A Central Oregon woman has taken to ODOT's highways to talk about the dangers of texting and driving at the same time. From the Columbia River through Central Oregon onto the California border, she's been talking about a close encounter that's caused her to think twice about the dangers to herself and others.
I am running across Oregon in 30 days, and I'm doing it to help raise awareness to not text and drive.
On a bridge over the Columbia River, Vicki O'Halloran started her trek to tell her tale of dangerous texting.
I was checking a work-related text. That's all it took to smash into a tree. And yeah, it kind of changed everything. And I decided that I couldn't just shake it off and do nothing about it. And other people may not be as lucky as I was and just hit a tree.
That wasn't going to happen to her again, and not to anyone else either if she could do anything about it.
See from that we put much, if not most of our video up onto YouTube as well. We found that it's just the way the system works here in Oregon. It's more efficient and effective to put it on YouTube and then to tweet about that being there as well. So we drive a lot of people to our site via YouTube, which is a great partnership. I'm sure that people at YouTube appreciate the fact that they do get much more programming. We like the fact that we have worldwide reach, so it works for us all here. If we can scroll down a little bit, you can see on the web page itself that there are other areas that have video associated with them. The next one I'd like to show you, if we can scroll down to the next little segment, is about a wildlife fence that's unique to Oregon here. So we'll take an element of video. In fact, this was still shots that were taken under the overcrossing here, which is unique to Oregon, and just compiled right here at my desk so that people can see the effectiveness of what it is we're doing. So these are animals that are using a brand new wildlife undercrossing, which is of great interest to folks here. We have a lot of deer-car collisions. So it's another way of getting the message out that's much more graphic than simply having somebody talk about what's going on. And we get an amazing number of visits to our video by doing this and find that it is an effective way of getting the word out. I'm sure as communicators you all understand how powerful video can be and the effectiveness that we find just across the board using it. Part of it is because we have some talent available to us. We didn't have to go out and hire anybody, and so as I heard the previous speaker mention, the cost effectiveness of doing these kinds of projects is really a great value to your organization. In many cases, I could shoot using that little flip cam that I showed you, and in other cases, we do the full HD camera. So it just kind of depends upon what it is that you're working on to have that flexibility. And so it's a great way we found to get the word out to people who are really not familiar with what ODOT does, because we do stories above and beyond the broad stories that happen on our highways, and we bring a personal, a people element to the table. And in that way, we're broadening, what we hope we're doing is broadening the reach. And that's kind of the goal here, is to spread the word as far and wide as we can. I have yet to convince my superiors in the Capitol to get aboard statewide with this. We're going through some budget reductions with this. I'm sitting here instead of sitting there with you. So it's an era of change here at ODOT, and as we go through these changes, we're finding that getting our word out this way is efficient, effective. It has an emotional context, and as we move into the future, it's using the tools that younger folks these days are themselves using. And that's important because those are the voters who are coming up, and they'll be the ones who decide the future. The gas tax is at risk. We'll need to embark on a new path for means of financing what ODOT is doing. And so by using the tools that the younger folks are using, we're reaching them at their level. So the folks in Salem, whom I report to, my supervisors, endorse the use of it, and where we go with it, we're not quite sure now. But we have found that it's been an effective tool because we've been getting awards for the program, and we felt by doing that, we're not only convincing the folks on the inside that it's a worthwhile project, but it's also reaching out to a much broader audience than exist here. So we're happy to be able to do it. Find it effective, cost effective. It works as a communications device, and it's a little way to get the word of ODOT out to the government public, which they didn't have before. So I'm happy to be a part of your conference here, even though I'm not there with you. But you know, this is once again a new use of video in our new world. So here we are at a couple of different levels trying to get the word out here.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll try to make this quick. I learned a new word last week from the head of our video department. His name is Lenny Tyranny, and the word I learned from him is transportainment. That's what he thinks he does with his craft, and he's very, very good at it. So I'm going to try to be a little light toward the end of this day. I know you all are probably ready to eat some cookies and popcorn. I know I am. So I wanted to show you some samples of our video. We're going to begin with a montage that we used at our leadership conference to give people an idea in a 2-minute clip what VDOT is all about. And the theme is how we keep Virginia moving. And that's VDOT in about 2.5 minutes. One of the things that I challenge my team with is to bring new life to a very old theme that's been with VDOT for a long time, which is we keep Virginia moving. We needed to do something for internal communication, so I thought, let's highlight some of the workers in the field, from procurement, from maintenance, from communications, from all facets of what we do in VDOT. But instead of doing packages and doing narratives and doing complicated kind of productions, let's have the workers tell the story in their words and how they keep Virginia moving. So we'll go to this video.
I'm a trades technician 3 at VDOT Sign Shop. We just make signs for the entire state. We make the large overhead signs where you see on the interstates. We make the route marker type signs. We make speed limit signs. Basically everything you see along the side of the road. and it stays quite busy here actually. So it's a good feeling to be the only shop and know that we have that kind of responsibility. Quite the chore, but it's good work. So to me, it's vitally important because it's such a major part of the interstate and roadway system. It feels good to be part of something that's so vital to transportation in Virginia, and you get to see what you contribute on a daily basis. Every day that I come into work and go home, I see something that we've created. I think all of us here feel really good about it. It's just a good feeling to know that your work means something. And one of the things we kind of have a saying here, and kind of a joking, but it's a serious way, that we make signs and save lives. I mean, actually, you know, especially like when you have the emergency situations, it's even more vital to get those out quick. For example, where you have the high waters, flood damage and things like that, a lot of roads are closed, so you need the detour signs, high water signs, you need everything to keep things running smoothly and to keep things running safely. My name is Reggie Schaefer, and I keep Virginia moving.
This has been very popular within our agency. Our employees get really excited if they know that they're going to be featured, and they tell the story in their words. In fact, our commissioner has used this style for a lot of his conferences, and so instead of him spending an hour talking to us, talking about missions and goals, what he does is he'll talk a couple of minutes, and then he'll highlight a video of one of our engineers, one of our crew people, one of our construction managers. So we have used video not only for our external audience, but it's been a wonderful tool for our internal outreach as well too. The next thing I'd like to show you is a little more lighthearted, and it is about Phil Itwick, and he helps with our potholes. And this is a quick little PSA, just about 38 seconds long.
I'm Phil Itwick, and I'm a pothole hunter. Things used to be tough. It was just a handful of us guys trying to patrol thousands of miles of road. Now folks are calling VDOT's Customer Service Center or going to the VDOT website to report potholes that they see. It's like having millions of sets of eyes watching all the roads around the state. If I was a pothole, I'd be kind of creeped out by the whole thing. I'm Phil Itwick, and I'm a pothole hunter.
Lenny is the head of our video department. He is a very talented videographer. He's an incredible writer, producer, and he's also a great talent within himself. So we're really fortunate to have someone like him run our video department. We also have two very talented people who work with him, and their name is Rob Monroe and Jack Beelhart. And what a team they are. They really do make a difference for us. The next thing I'd like to show you is perhaps one of our most popular videos. It has over 225,000 views. And it's simply a few minutes of bridges blowing up to classical music.
Larga fatotum della città largo. La 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 la. Resto materia che l'alleggia presto. La 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 la. Ah, che bel vivere, che bel piacere, che bel piacere. Per un barbiere di qualità, di qualità. Oh, bravo Piero, bravo, bravissimo, bravo! La 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 la! Fortunatissimo per verità, bravo! La 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 la! Fortunatissimo per verità, fortunatissimo per verità, la 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 la. Raso di pettini, lancete forbici al mio comando, tutto qui sta. Lancete forbici, raso di pettini al mio comando, tutto qui sta. Che bel vivere, che bel piacere, che bel piacere. Tutti mi chiedono, tutti mi vogliono. Donne e ragazzi, vecchie fanciulle, quella parrucca, presto la barba, quella sanguigna, Presto biglietto, tutti mi chiedono, tutti mi vogliono, tutti mi chiedono, tutti mi vogliono. Quella parrucca, presto la barba, presto il biglietto. Ehi! Figaro? Ehi, Figaro! La 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 la. Te fortuna, non mancherò. Sono il patrono della città, sono il patrono della città, della città, della città, della città.
Who would have thought? Opera and bridges coming down. Something like that, though, does create a lot of interest. So when you're trying to get lift to your YouTube channel, people love watching things blowing up. Also, time-lapse video is really interesting, too. If you can set a camera over a construction project for about a month and then speed it up, we get a lot of views from that as well, too. And the benefit of that is we get people over to our YouTube channel, and while they're there, they'll see some other things as well, too. So that is a great draw. The last thing that I'll show you, which I do believe we have one of our stars of the video in this room. His name is Greg Bilyeu, and he's sitting over there at that table. This is called A Tale of Two Tunnels.
Eddie, come clean. Where were you on the day of the 15th?
I told you. I was at the beach with my family.
How about that, Joe? We got a family man here.
Honest. I got the sunburn to prove it.
Nice try, Eddie. How do we know that's real sunburn? You know this isn't black and white.
Listen, Lobster Boy. We got witnesses that saw you leaving your house that morning.
That's right. There's no way you could get to the beach that quick.
I'm telling you, I was at the beach.
Listen, Sandman, we didn't just fall off the ice cream truck. This is summertime.
Yeah, everybody from Bristol to Buckro's headed to the beach.
I think Buckrow is a beach.
It's alliteration, just go with it.
My family loves the beach too. That's why we were there. You guys got nothing on me, and you can't hold me here. It ain't fair.
All's fair in love and noir, Eddie. Even my Aunt Sadie knows. In the summer, you're going to be up to your axle in traffic on 64.
Yeah, the delays at the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel can be an hour more. Although travel times do vary. Call 511 for me.
Wait, who said anything about the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel? I think the Monitor Merrimack Bridge Tunnel. You know, I-664.
I-664? The Monitor Merrimack Tunnel? Get out of here, that's way upriver.
Yeah, which is where this trout's going to be if he keeps telling tales.
No, really. I remember it just like it was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Shh. All right. You two Dick Tracy's want me to spill the beans? Well, here's the deal. I've been taking I-664 to the beach for years. Some people think it's out of the way, but it's only a few miles further. And there's almost never a backup at the Monitor Merrimack Tunnel. That's how I got to the beach so quick. So there. Now you know my little secret.
The I-664 Monitor Merrimack Tunnel, huh?
Yeah. And it's in color, too.
You might just have to check out your story.
See for yourself. You'll get to the beach a lot quicker. Now, can I go, or have you guys got any more questions?
Just one. How's the surf?
And I believe that last clip of video is actually from the old highway building in Richmond during the 1950s, early 1960s. So that's all the videos that we have to show you, but we have lots of videos. You can go to our YouTube channel at virginiadot.org. Just scroll to the bottom and click on the YouTube channel. We have about, I believe, 138 videos on there with a total of about over 600,000 views at this point. So we have found it to be an incredible tool to communicate with all of our audiences, and when we are doing releases, we also embed a video in our releases if we do have a video, many times that we do, and they are used. The Washington Post will post our YouTube videos. So they're used and they're a wonderful tool, and we have found them to be very helpful in getting our message across. Thanks.